Hi friends. So the big debate at Thanksgiving is always jellied or whole cranberry sauce. What do you like? I'm kind of partial to whole chunky cranberry sauce myself, and that's what we're gonna make today. But we usually have both kinds on our table, so it's okay to please everybody. But we're gonna make some cranberry sauce here today, and I've been making this for many years and everybody always enjoys it. So I usually make a batch or two. Sometimes I will double it and can the rest to save for Christmas or other times of the year. It's a really great addition to your holiday table, and then for sandwiches and things afterwards. And then also it can be used in desserts and other recipes later on. And so this recipe for cranberry sauce, it keeps really well in the refrigerator, and as I mentioned, I've also canned it, and that is a really great option for long-term storage. I would anticipate you could freeze it as well. I have not tried that, but definitely something to check out with this recipe. So I do buy whole cranberries when I find a good deal and get those on sale if I can, and I stock up, and I usually throw them in the freezer. So the whole cranberries will freeze really nicely for later recipes. And so I will pull them out, let them thaw a little bit, and then I get ready to dive in with my recipe. Started adding our ingredients to a saucepan and get things simmering. So this recipe calls for about 3 to 4 cups of cranberries. So I coarsely chop them just to open them up enough, and then rinse them in a colander to get the seeds out as much as possible. You're not going to be straining this because we are looking for that whole cranberry sauce, so we don't want to strain things out. So we want to try to get some of the seeds out so that they're not kind of clouding up your finished product. So I'm going to add all of that to my saucepan. I also add apples to this recipe. So I've chopped 2 apples here. They're pretty small dice there. It doesn't matter what kind of apple, whatever is going to work well for you, what you prefer, what you have on hand. That's usually what I do, whatever I have left over from applesauce or other recipes. And then I juice oranges. Depending on the size of the orange, I try to get about a half of cup, but we had a little bit less here today, but just enough liquid to give you a little bit of something to get started there in the bottom and give it that little bit of orange flavor. And then I add 2 cups of sweetener. You can pick and choose what's going to work best for you, what your preference is. White sugar will work fine. I do like sucanat here. I have a mixture of sucanat and allulose. So if you're not familiar with sucanat, it is the brown kind of sandy looking texture there. It is dehydrated cane juice crystals. So it's a little more natural option, similar to brown sugar as far as mineral content and all of that, but not as processed. So we've added that. And then I have about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and half a teaspoon of nutmeg that I'm going to add as well. And so then we'll turn our burner on and we'll just start heating that up and letting it start to cook down. So it'll take a little bit of time, but your berries and apples and things will start to juice out as well. So this will get a little bit more liquidy, and we want to cook this down until the fruit is nice and tender. So again, that's going to take a little bit of time. You want to keep stirring it and just prevent it from burning and sticking to the bottom of your saucepan. So we started with our mixture. I turned that on high and brought that to a boil. It took about 8 minutes. The juices started to come out, and so that was boiling. I reduced it down to about half heat and simmered it for another 10-15 minutes until our fruit has started to get tender. And so that's where we are now, and I've made a slurry with arrowroot and water. So I like to use arrowroot as a thickener as opposed to cornstarch, but cornstarch works just as well. So arrowroot is very similar. It looks very much the same, but has a little bit less genetically modified and kind of more natural option for thickener. And so I use that, and I will start to stir that in and kind of mash up my fruit a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more thorough consistency. And you can leave it as whole and chunky as you want, or you can get it mashed up, and you'll see that it's thickening up nicely there. And so again, I like the chunkier kind of sauce, but again, you could even puree this up a little bit if you choose, and then thicken from there. But nice whole cranberry sauce, and so this will thicken up a little bit nicer as you chill it as well. And then you can serve it on your Thanksgiving or holiday table and enjoy it with whatever you choose.